Hey guys, good evening. Today, simple little project. We're going to make some rain catchers. Uh, these I'm going to be using. Now you can use smaller bottles, but we use a couple 2 liters. Now this can come in handy in an emergency situation, especially if you manage to find some roadside waste. A lot of people fill a lot of materials out of their vehicles, especially water bottles, soda bottles, and the like. These are a little more preferred just for the volume. So we're going to get into that, guys. So stick with me. We're going to turn this and another one into a rain catcher. This is going to be a pretty straightforward and simple little procedure here. Get a knife blade out. Now, I want to turn this top part into a funnel. So we're probably going to come down to about right there. And we'll try to cut this as straight as possible. So I'm going to kind of roll that bottle a little bit, try to keep my knife hand relatively still. Just mind you, this does require a decently sharp blade to help make this a little easier. That's not to say that I don't get it in perfect. I'm a little off, not much. That's not too hateful. Definitely could have been worse. Come here, you. All right. Now we have our vessel that we're going to catch our water in. Now we're going to basically turn this thing upside down like this. We're going to try to use this as like a funnel. So when it's finished, the configuration will be a lot like that. This is almost like, you seen any of my videos where I've actually tried to turn one of these into like a little crawl crab trap using kind of the same technique. All right, now close your knife blade. I want my awl. Now then I'm just going to put probably just 2 little holes in this thing. Not too big. I just want big enough to get some of this cordage here through. And that's just going to help the funnel part stay in there and not go missing on me or get blown off by some wind. Okay, now we'll do the same over here. Kind of made us up a couple holes. And then right there. Now, cut them out just a hair, not too crazy. I'm sure go nice and slow. Don't force that in there. You could split this plastic. All right. Now I just need 2 individual pieces of this, and I don't need it to be very, very big. So we're just going to burn this. You can cut it if you want, and then burn it, or you can just cut it with the fire itself, and it's already got the ends melted. That way you don't have to worry about it unfraying on you. So we'll do that again. This part here, not gonna lie, may be a little fiddly. All right, we got that one in without too much difficulty. not too hateful. And then we'll get our last piece here. So I can make that easier on myself and just hinge that over out of the way. If you make if you have like a pair of multi-tools with scissors, and you make just a starting hole with a knife blade, and take your scissors and cut the tops of these off, I think that actually make a more clean and accurate cut, which will only help you out in the long run. But now we got these two pieces tied off here. That will do a couple things for us. Like I said, it'll keep us from losing the funnel part if there's a lot of wind, and just keep it from falling in there all willy-nilly. The thing is being difficult. There we go. Now I'm putting little knots in my little tag ends up here that will help prevent this stuff from slipping out on me. There we go. Now our funnel is far more secured in there. And if it's still too weeble wobbly on the other two sides, do the same process. Put some holes in there and put some more cordage on there to guarantee that hold in place. So, but that's pretty simple. And I did forget to take the cap off that. So. But the important thing is to see how you do it. So now we got that taken care of. We'll go on and do the other one, but we'll do it slightly different. Now we're going to use some barbed wire. Found some old rusty barbed wire. So in lieu of using that cordage, we can start breaking this down a little bit. And obviously be careful you don't cut, stab, or scratch yourself real bad, if at all possible. But we'll start to unwound that there a little bit. There we go. So now we'll just cut that off there. And we need another piece, at minimum 2 pieces. Now we're going to do the fat. Just going to make it sort of a C shape just off the bat here. Eventually we'll close this up a bit, and I'll kind of make like same kind of deal we made with the cordage. But I want to get that to where I can kind of close it off after the fact. Now we'll do the same thing. We'll take our bottle and we're going to cut it and get it ready to flip this upside down to make us a funnel. Now we're just simply going to take that piece, pop it through, and we're just going to kind of close that up a little bit. Now the main goal of this is just keep that plastic in place. Roll that over a little bit. Now then we got our other piece. I'm going to adjust this one a little bit more. Well, actually, you know what? I may not need to. We'll go with that and see how that works. Yep. Okay. There we go. It's not pretty, but that'll keep that secured in there. All right, now we're going to move on to getting these things positioned to catch our water. This part's nothing too fancy. I got a branch. Cut that tip off down here. Now let's go put the bottle to the top. And I want that at least a couple inches longer than the bottle, so about roughly 3 inches or so. Mark that spot there so I know where to strike. Just cut her off here flush on this end. Yeah, that's one. Need 3 of these. Two. There's 3. A little chunky. I don't need them quite that thick, but it was just the closest branch that was near me. So I'm going to put a little bit of a sharp tip on these guys. Doesn't have to be super fancy, just effective. One. Boy. She's a crooked. We'll try to use her anyway. All right, there's our 3. In lieu of you don't have a hatchet, you can obviously make like a maul or a shorter, heavier stick to use for a hammer. What we're going to do is stay there. One. We might need a 4th one here. I don't know yet. We'll see how the 3 works. Yeah. See if I can readjust that a little bit. There we go. All right. Now also, mind you, if you had the extra cordage, you could just take one little wrap of cordage around that, which I don't know if the piece I got left is long enough, but if it is, we'll do that. There we go. That might work. That'll just help secure this thing, keep the wind from blowing this thing over. Because if we're in a situation where we're having to use rain catchers, there's a good chance that, you know, we're in a bad enough way we cannot risk losing any water that we're collecting. So if we do this, this will help keep the wind from potentially spoiling what we're trying to accomplish. All right, so that is pretty secured. All right, this is pretty straightforward and simple. West Virginia, there's always rocks there. All right, now let's get our bottle. Now we'll just simply put this dirt back in here. I'm not going to pack it tight. I don't want it tight. I just want enough to hold the bottle itself stable. So we don't need to go too crazy here. Now that there's enough. And what that'll do, this is obviously the fastest, easiest method, but if you didn't have anything to dig with, or you're in soil, it's definitely not conducive to digging. Real fast, easy method to safely secure this. And now we can let this thing kind of just be. And like, I'm going to finish up this video, not the day that I'm recording this part. Tomorrow we're supposed to actually have some rain and some thunderstorms. So at the end of the day, tomorrow, I'll finish this video out. We're going to come back and see how well we did. Now, the first one I put out, I'm going to have to move because I put it underneath a canopy of trees. So it's no bueno. We're not going to catch much water if all those branches and leaves blocking the rain. So I'll probably just set it up real close to this one. And then at the end of tomorrow, we can come back and check and see how much rain we've actually accumulated just from these two 2-liter bottles set up this way. Guys, well, there she is. We got them both set in position. Now it's just up to the rain. I do want to make this bit of a statement when dealing with these. Now, assuming if you found these along the roadside or in just a random junkyard, scrapyard, or wherever the heck you was, you found these bottles, they may not be clean and safe just to drink out of. And what I'm saying is, even though you're catching rainwater, unless you source these yourself and you know for a fact they're clean, maybe you bought the soda originally yourself, boil it. And while these are sitting out here, if they're out here for a couple of days, there's a chance a bird may perch on one of these or even on the rim of that and poop inside that. It may be highly unlikely, but it could happen. And it might not be enough for you to actually notice with the naked eye. But I'm just going to say this, even though you're capturing this rainwater, unless you have no other choice but to drink it straight, I highly still recommend to boil it, because things can happen that you have no idea happened to it. So don't take the chance. And if a bird does poop in here, there's a good chance it's contaminated, not only just with bacteria from the fecal matter, but a lot of birds carry like parasitic worms. So, keep all that in mind when you're doing this kind of stuff. And safety first, as they say. Guys, we've had I'd say about a collective 10 hours worth of rain, pretty decent rainfall here. So we're going to pull these two rain catches here and see how well they did. All right. So down there in the bottom. Definitely got some leaf litter and some bugs in that one. I can get these set up somewhere a little better where we can take a better look at them. All right, guys, there's a better look at them. Now, be honest with you, that's not a whole lot of water for as much rain as we got. But the catchment is pretty small, the opening, so that's obviously going to affect it. This is not like we had a big tarp out, catching a lot of water in a larger area. But if you're out in a situation and you're struggling, well, I don't think that's too hateful. It's just these two devices doing some work for you. You can't really have too much water. So I'm going to pour this one into the other one. Kind of get an idea what we got. All right. Now, that is, I mean, it's not the greatest in the world, but I want to say that it's not the worst either. I mean, we're not too shy from having an actual 2 liters of water. This alone, if you weren't like really super hard pressed, you could actually probably, this would help you for just a day's worth of water right here, because it's pretty close to 2 liters. So, I mean, do I think it was worthless? Absolutely not. So, actually, let me get to my final thoughts real quick here, and we'll talk more about that. All right, guys. My final thoughts on it. So, I'll say this. Ease of construction, very easy. Ease of placement, very easy. How well it actually work, kind of on the low side. So, it gets 2 good marks out of 3. But like I said, now I left this out. By the way, when I said approximately 10 hours worth of rain, I've actually left these out for 48 hours, and we had rain those 2 days, and we have acquired roughly with 10 hours of rain throughout those 48 hours. We've got nearly, not quite, 2 quarts of water. So now you could say, well, that's not really worth it, but whereas I'll admit that this is definitely not the greatest method, but if you didn't have access to anything but those bottles, it's not bad. And in lieu of put the wire there, string on the other one, you could put your holes through here and take a very fairly small stick, or if you can go like straight across through and then maybe another one up here, make a little X with some very thin diameter sticks to pin your funnel in. You don't have to have string or these hooks. So now, with that being said, some people might criticize, well, what if I don't got string or access to ball bar? We can use sticks. So, and in an emergency situation, because you never know how long you're going to be there, I would be really, really happy to have this at 2 days. Like I said, that's enough to keep it going for a whole day right there. However, there's definitely better methods, absolutely. And here later on, we'll probably do some more rain catching techniques. But I just wanted to present this one because it was simple, fast, and easy. And even in most situations, you could probably find some trash somewhere and get some kind of containers to convert into catch rain. Now, in lieu of using this top here for the funnel, if you get some sticks, make some braces, you can even make some bark off a tree to make, catch rain funnel down in one of these containers. You got all kinds of options. So like I said, to get 2 good marks out of 3, which ain't bad. So hopefully this helped you guys. I appreciate y'all watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see y'all in another video.